OffshoreInsiders.com, Preseason Primer, part of the Sports Betting Podcast. And of course, this traces its roots back to the scorephone days of the 1980s. I'm Joe Duffy, CEO of OffshoreInsiders.com. We do record this on Tuesday. I plan on being back Wednesday evening by 8 p.m. Eastern Time to update any injuries, quarterback rotations, etc. Remember, visit Joe Duffy's Picks, the NFL specialist for preseason winners at OffshoreInsiders.com, www.OffshoreInsiders.com. The Jets and the Lions are be using a rebuilt offensive line. Jets quarterback Geno Smith is now out. He was sucker punched in practice. Should be a big distraction for the Jets, this happening just 2 days before they open the preseason. He was actually having a good camp and was slated to be the starting quarterback on Thursday. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who played for offensive coordinator Chan Gailey when Gailey was the head coach in Buffalo, is expected to take over as the Jets starter. In the meantime, rookie Bryce Petty also now expected to move up a notch with Geno Smith out. Redskins and the Browns. Brown starters, Josh McCown as the quarterback, will play about a quarter in the preseason opener. Johnny Manziel did miss practice on Tuesday, but he is expected still to play. He'll likely be figured in with the second group. Thad Lewis is battling Connor Shaw for the number 3 quarterback. Shaw, all scouting reports say his arm improvement has improved greatly. With the Redskins, Robert Griffin III will play about 1 quarter with the offensive starters. Defensive starters also expected to play about a quarter. Minor injuries, though, have limited practice times of the Skins' defensive back, so they could be a little rusty, and a couple guys are questionable. Tackle Joe Thomas is also questionable. For the Browns, for the Cowboys and the Chargers, the Pokes are very likely to start free agent rookies Gus Johnson at running back. John Randall and Darren McFadden have been slowed by injuries, are likely not to play. They're also ravaged by injuries at defensive tackle. The Pokes are Jack Crawford, who's usually a defensive end, is moving inside. Des Bryant, wide receiver, very unlikely to play for the Cowboys. Also, a couple other top receivers, both banged up, and they're expected to get conservative, so Dallas will also be very young and inexperienced at the wide receiver position. Packers and the Patriots. Look for the Packers to go pretty deep into their roster. Mike McCarthy said he plans on playing everyone who travels Thursday. The Dolphins and the Bears. Bears starters on offense and defense will see 12 to 15 snaps. We're going to go to Friday's action in a moment. Make sure you listen to this entire report, the Sports Betting Podcast from OffshoreInsiders.com. We are going to take a look at the sportsbook betting trends. Where's the public betting on in the first week of the preseason? Friday for the Titans and the Falcons, both first-rounder Marcus Mariota and second-rounder Dorial Green-Beckham are having great camps. For the Titans, DGB will start with the first team. Atlanta breaking in a new head coach, Dan Quinn. There are a lot of people out there who believe that new coaches, first-year coaches, especially if it's their first head coaching job, are a little bit more motivated to get a win in their first preseason game. Steelers and the Jaguars. Remember, Pittsburgh has a game under their belt, having played in the Hall of Fame game. There are some gamblers who thought that is a big advantage, although really over the years, spread-wise, that really has not necessarily been the case. The Panthers and the Bills. Bills quarterback rotation, Matt Castle expected to start then followed by Tyrod Taylor. Then remember, former starter E.J. Manuel. He has not been performing well, but he is likely going to be the number 3 quarterback. For Saturday, Buccaneers and the Vikings. Of course, the Vikings also with a team under their belt. Chiefs and the Cardinals. Jeremy Maclin and Albert Wilson, both starting wide receivers for the Chiefs, are questionable. This leaves Kansas City very young and thin at that position, so make sure you listen to our daily podcast. We'll update to see if Kansas City will be young and thin at the wide receiver position on Saturday. 49ers and the Texans. Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, and Tom Savage all going to play quarterback for the Texans, but no starter has been determined. Their head coach O'Brien said not to read much into who starts, who plays second, who plays third, but they do have a legitimate quarterback battle for those people who love that. Of course, running back Arian Foster now injured, and all the remaining running backs on the roster are expected to play. Remember, offshoreinsiders.com is where you want to go to finalize your picks on every single game day, and that includes, of course, throughout the regular season and more, www.offshoreinsiders.com. From a percentage standpoint, on Thursday's games, the biggest bet so far, 70% of the public likes the New England Patriots. 61% of the betting public is betting offshore and in Las Vegas on the Washington Redskins. That arguably significant since the public generally doesn't like to bet the road team. However, even bigger are the totals. 86%, a very substantial 86% betting on the Chicago-Miami game to go under the total. 75% expecting San Diego to go under, and the New England-Green Bay game, 80% betting on the under. Then on the 14th of August, you do have 75% of the betting public going with the Atlanta Falcons, line 264, and a stunning line 274, 94% of the betting public on Seattle. And then on 8:15, Arizona does have 72% of the betting public betting with them. We're going to try to update this on a daily basis during the preseason, or at least during weekdays. We'll start about 48 hours before the first game, a little bit more than that, more than 48 hours, more like 60 hours before the first game. We'll do the first update, www.offshoreinsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com.